Today for Devotions with Daniella, we are reading Uncultured, the first book of Daniella, about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and going into the cult of the U.S. Army. This is a chapter called I'm the Bitch. Our unit moved to the Army's Joint Readiness Training Center in Fort Polk, Louisiana, an oppressively hot and humid bog of over 3,400 square miles that Eisenhower had given the Army in 1940 to train for operations during World War II. Of course, they took it from Native peoples. We were there for our culmination exercise to prove to ourselves and our commanders that this unit, this team, was ready to do it for real in war. Every unit does culmination exercises, war games, every time. No matter that all we did was go to war, come back home, just to turn around and do it again. As the unit's intelligence officer, it would mean interminable days and little room for missteps. Everything we did wrong could mean a life once we deployed, so we had to get it right. I felt every bit of my position's gravity, carrying a weight that felt heavier than my 26 years. During the first week of the trip, the Leaders Summit, I'd been locked away with 17 men on my team in a conference room for 14 hours a day, crafting the battalion-level operations orders and intelligence products the companies under us would have to work with during the field exercise. It was a time that brought us all closer together, almost as if rank, and in my case, gender, didn't matter as much as it did back home. We'd work our butts off all day, then wind down with 6 packs of beer, which would also be off limits to us soon, and someone on a guitar, all together in the same situation, with only each other for companionship for the upcoming weeks out in the swamp. I realized I was lucky to be the only woman on the team. If there had been even one other, we'd have been expected to keep to ourselves by default. It hadn't occurred to anyone to isolate me, and I'd been treated like just another member of the team. It reminded me how I felt patrolling with John and the guys. The rest of the unit arrived a week later, and as exercises began, the officers at the top slept less, the lines in everyone's faces becoming more and more visible. The Keurig I'd brought from home ran day and night to keep up with everyone's demand and gave me power in my own little corner of the Tactical Operations Center. I worked around the clock, often 18-hour days, trying to get my team ready, including a brand new girl, Private Parker, who had no experience or training at all. I knew from my first deployment how hard it could be to deploy with a team without enough time to get to know them, let alone gel with them. And though she struggled to grasp the intelligence work, our team did our best to get her up to speed. Days blended into each other, and 10-mile runs at midnight with 3 or more of my lieutenant mafiosos became our only time to decompress and do something other than work, eat, or try to catch a few hours of sleep. I swallowed the knowledge that these men, who'd become like my brothers, would be warned away from camaraderie with me, despite my record of professionalism, the instant we touched down on the sand. I had already warned them that our long runs, so well known throughout the battalion, would become suspect as soon as we fell under General Order 1's restrictions overseas. That was the rule saying, amongst other things, no sex. They didn't believe me, laughing at what they thought was my exaggeration. Everyone knows you're just another bro, First Lieutenant Mark Ackman, the hippiest guy to ever graduate from West Point, was fond of saying. Besides, nobody will say shit about you. You're fierce. They will, though, was all I ever had the energy to mutter in response. I asked them to watch my back, told them which men scared me the most, and which left me feeling uncomfortable. They nodded that they would. I was part of the team. They promised me I'd be safe. As my exhaustion deepened, my responses to my subordinates grew shorter and snippier, my smile disappearing out of the conversations with my peers. I knew I was sometimes called the Ice Queen, and in that moment, even I could understand why. 2 weeks into the exercise, the warrant officer I worked most closely with, Mr. Simmons, came to me, an impish grin on his face. Hey, I found something perfect for you at the shopette, LT. Redecorated your office. Enjoy. I walked into my little clapboard makeshift space to find literally every available surface covered in hot pink Hello Kitty duct tape. I cocked my head to the side, amused and confused. I thought it might help soften you up a little, Mr. Simmons said behind me. You know, because everyone thinks you're so mean and such a man-eater. Thought we should show them your softer, girlier side. Touché, man. I appreciate it, I said, my grin reaching my ears. My eyes this time. I reminded myself that my soldiers were all feeling the stress as well. Everyone was doing the best they could. The days passed in pure monotony, all of us going through the motions of our jobs, waking up from a dead sleep to respond to downed aircraft drills and sudden missions. A small reminder of what the long 9 months of our upcoming deployment would be. I couldn't help but see the similarity with the drills of my youth, when we'd be awakened in the middle of the night and timed on how long it took us to grab our flea bags and line up information. I came to find that walking into a bright pink office covered with the face of a strange Japanese kitty made me smile, and I saw others smile too. So I guessed Mr. Simmons had been right about the softening effect. You can get signed copies of Uncultured attached here or listen to me read it to you on Spotify Premium or anywhere you get your audiobooks.